start before we put going live?
Balls are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! Got it by Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
You found a way, okay? All right, now, what I tell you, okay? All right, this decade is going to be the decade of the Vols. You got me?
Reddit did to do and welcome into more important issues. It is Sunday, October 18th. It's not good. It's not nothing fun, nothing. I want to bet today. I guess that's good. But nothing. I could have won $1 million today, and I feel no, that's not true. I don't know. I think I'd still feel bad. That loss has hurt more than any loss I can. I tweeted it, and I think it's true. I felt worse yesterday than I did against Georgia State in 2019.
It was what it reminded me of is when we went to Vanderbilt in 2018 and got blown out. That would have put us in a bowl game. That was a very depressing loss. What was bad yesterday is I was completely sober for the whole thing, so it was miserable.
I wasn't sober, but I didn't get to. At least you talked about the Vanderbilt game in 2018. I was actually telling somebody, I was like, yeah, we went to Vanderbilt in 2018. I was like, but we had a good time. At least we got to enjoy things. I guess I did have a good night last night, but I couldn't keep, it was like a bad breakup. You can't forget it. You don't forget it. It hurt. Your dog died last night. Your dog got ran over in front of you last night. It hurt.
Ouch. That's how I felt after the game. It was just ouch. And any time that we would get any kind of break or be like, okay, if we get the ball, if we get a stop right here, we get the ball, we'll be back in it. And then it just was a complete letdown every single time.
Yeah. And you mentioned the breaks, and we'll definitely get in a little bit more into the game. But it's like after the first pick six, you're like, it can't get worse from here, and it does. And then you have the second pick six, and you're like, well, it's at least a new quarterback, and it wasn't. Well, it was, but it stunk. It stunk. It hurt so bad.
1984. I'm glad we pointed out all that stuff. I did a lot of research on 1984 just to throw it in Kentucky's face, and then we show up with that performance in Neyland Stadium yesterday.
Yeah, Landon is officially a 1984 historian. He was certified by the Smithsonian Museum, and now what does it do him?
Yeah, now I guess jump off a bridge.
You're gonna have to learn a lot about 2020. So 40 years later, you can do the same thing again.
Yeah, I have a lot of internal scars for 2020. I'm sure everybody else does too, but I think I have a lot more than some people.
It looks like the year is not going to look up. Well, we're going to talk about it though, because you know what? Next Saturday, the team's a lot better than this Saturday. Not Tennessee. The team we're playing is a lot better, and we'll still be cheering them on. So I'll try to be a little bit more peppy. But how can you be?
Yeah, that's the bad thing about that loss is at least you can't look forward to next week and be like, okay, we got to rewrite ship this week. It's you play the best team in the country, so good luck. I guess it you can look at it as it doesn't matter how you play, you're still going to lose. So play whoever.
Yeah, go all out. You definitely don't have to really worry about trying to be competitive and win the game because you're probably not. So just go give it your best shot. You kind of, in some ways, it's easier to play like that team. It's going to be a tough week though. It's going to be a very tough week. We are going to talk about the Kentucky game. Unfortunately, I guess we have to. Did you hear the caller on Tony Basillo, whose wife left him last night?
Yeah, because he threw a beer bottle out of the window.
Through a window. Broke the window.
He might have it worse than me because at least I still got my wife this morning. So, as far as I know, she hasn't left yet. I guess that's determined after the show. But yeah, she was around this morning. So
good.
Some people have it worse.
Yeah, absolutely. I asked Emily. I said, "Would you leave me if I did that?" She's like, "Not if it was it was an accident." And I was like, "But I threw it through a window." And she's like, "Yeah, probably." I was like, I guess that's understandable. Understandable. Yeah, we are going to talk about the Kentucky game. I got mad, but I didn't get as mad as that guy. I didn't throw anything through windows. I didn't throw anything, actually. I did at one point. After the second touchdown, we were still driving, and I did hit the center console, and she wasn't very happy about that. But I didn't break anything, so.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Kentucky game. We'll talk about some things that get fixed. We are, I like to call us an optimistic podcast, so I guess we're going to talk about some players that impressed. We're also going to talk about a little bit. We're going to talk about college football, also the high school. We don't have the high school highlights because we're virtual again, obviously, like we were on Saturday. And but we will talk about some guys that impressed us in the area, and looking forward at week 10 in high school, almost playoff time.
Yeah, it's getting close. Every game means a little bit more.
Who's your favorite team in? Let's do 5A, because that's probably the most competitive one, right? Kind of 6 and 5A are the most competitive. Who's your favorite team in 5A before we go into week 10?
I saw West play Powell, and I just don't. From what I've seen from everybody else, West is going to be the hardest team to beat. They're just solid at every position. So I'm going to go with West.
I think West too. I think what's crazy is whatever team gets out of the this side of Tennessee, I think will win the whole thing.
100%.
So who can win that? Who can win that battle? Then we've also got our most important and fail of the week. Maybe let's skip fail. That seems very like self-deprecation. Yeah. Maybe don't do that.
Yeah, maybe just yesterday in general was a fail.
Yes, absolutely. Let's get into it. I know before we do that, Landon's going to tell you guys about some of our friends that make this show possible.
Yeah, go check out our sponsors: Tennessee Tap House, Blue Water Climate Control, and Hound Dogs. Go do that. Go check them out. Also, tell us where you're listening from. We don't have the chat up tonight. We'll have that back on Wednesday, but we do have some questions. So if you want some questions to be answered, you can ask those to us, and we'll get them Wednesday.
Yep, absolutely. Let's do it. Let's start with the Kentucky game. Golly, dude. Dude, it's 34-7. 34-7.
That's coaching. I mean,
you got outplayed. You got outcoached. Georgia was bad, but at least you stopped and looked at Georgia. And I'm not going to take away a ton from Kentucky because I thought they took advantage of opportunities. Not every team can do that. Sure, they were handed, but they still had to go score on those. On it, one of the pick sixes, they had to get blockers out in front, but they took advantage of opportunities. Other teams can't do that, so I don't want to take away a lot from them. They outcoached and outplayed Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean it was. There's not a lot of difference in the yards and things like that. It was just turnovers.
Yes,
and turnovers that turned into touchdowns.
Well, 34-7 obviously isn't good. Your offense scored 17 of their points.
Yeah.
You could probably argue more later on in the game. I mean, because the defense, we're going to talk about who impressed later, but the defense, they played fine in the first half. They played great in the first half. Sorry. They played great in the first half. But how long can you hold on?
Yeah. And Jeremy Pruitt's comments kind of after the fact, I don't know if you got to listen to that but it was
I've read some.
It was just like making excuses about like not practicing in fall camp. That's an excuse you can make at the first game of the season, not 4 games in, not when you've gotten worse.
I don't think you can make it though this year because Kentucky's stuck in the same situation.
Yeah, everybody is. So it's not a good excuse. And then he starts by, I don't want to make excuses, but like that's an excuse.
Yeah, and then, man, I tweeted this. I'm gonna question Jeremy Pruitt's competitiveness if JG comes back out here because he hasn't looked good. He should be on a short leash. And the first pick, unexcusable. Bad play call, sure, but you can't throw that ball. You're a fifth-year guy.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
can't
it's
throw that ball.
I do. He did say like, why are we throwing that far to pick up a 4-yard gain? Well, if a quarterback sees that the wide receiver isn't open, it's basic knowledge to not throw the ball.
It doesn't matter. And then, we want to blame the sack on the offensive line. And of course, offensive line is going to carry some of that fault. They got to block the guys. But, you look at the first sack that I can remember watching, and he could step up into the pocket and at least not get sacked immediately. Zero pocket presence. He's a fifth-year guy. And like you said, and Jeremy Pruitt, and rightfully so. If you've ever coached, you look at one player and you tell them, like, hey, on a football field, 10 other people probably weren't doing their jobs if you failed the way you failed. But at some point, you got to take some fault. Like, you're like, sure, could the offensive line have done better? Sure. Could you have stepped up into the pocket and avoided it? Absolutely.
Yeah, it just seems like he was kind of defending JG. He wasn't a big fan of the play calling. And,
Which is fair.
Rightfully so, because you paid Jim Chaney a lot of money for that offense to be getting worse.
And you've had two terrible called games back-to-back weeks.
In the last 19 drives, we have 7 turnovers and maybe 8 3-and-outs.
Mm-hmm. And you're down, I think, 24. No, you're down 17 in the third quarter with like 6 minutes left, and you're just trying to air it out. Eric Gray had 24 carries for 128 yards. Todd Chandler had 12 for 51.
Yeah.
We got away from the running game again.
The only time you move the football is when you run it 13. I think it was a 14-play drive, but you threw it 13 times, or you ran it 13 times for 75 yards and scored a touchdown. They knew a run was coming every single time, but you were still able to do it, and you just got away from it. You just continue to let JG beat you.
Yeah, your own freaking quarterback. It
was embarrassing. It was
a very embarrassing game. And then I'm at a freaking bar where it's all South Carolina fans or Clemson fans, and they had a day, man. Good for them.
Yeah.
South Carolina played well, took advantage of some Auburn mistakes. Credit, their fans got to enjoy the day. I did not at all. At all.
Right.
And then Clemson, good God.
Just putting it on people. But
insane.
I just don't like, it's so deflating for a defense to go out there knowing that if you get a stop, the offense is going to go 3 and out or turn the football over. Like, there's no, like, your defense is gassed at the start of the second half. And then they're just like giving up because they're like, what's the point? We already lost because we can't score.
Yeah. And I don't want to say there's never really, I guess, an excuse when you look at it as a person who, does that. There's not an excuse to give up, but I can understand it. I can understand. That second pick six, it did not look like any of our offensive players wanted to make that touchdown saving tackle.
Princeton fan just gave up. He just quit.
No, it's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. And I get it just doesn't. If the team, I have no problem with what Trey Smith said. I have zero problem. He's an offensive lineman. He's a leader of the team. He can't go into that press conference and say anything negative about JG. It can't happen. Oh. And I understand what he's trying to do in terms of picking him up and saying, hey, we got you. But play like it, because you're not playing like you have the guys back.
I really like how Mark Stoops has handled his quarterback competition. He's saying Terry Wilson is our guy, but we also have a standard to play quarterback at Kentucky. So if he's not playing up to that standard, we have guys ready to take his spot. And I like that.
But yeah,
I think that should be the case at Tennessee. If he's not playing to that standard, if he's playing like a freshman quarterback, take him out and put a freshman in. At least a freshman can make freshman mistakes, not a fifth-year guy making freshman mistakes over and over again.
Yeah, and I'm not going to sit here and, you saw one drive with Harrison Bailey, 4 passes, the end of the game in garbage time. But that one throw, the one completion, that was a nice completion, okay? But you can only put so much weight into it. Yeah, I haven't heard Mark Stoops say that, but if I do like that comment, because everybody should have a standard. And JG is not living up to the standard these last 2 games. No. And it's not like he's won a bunch of games for you. It's not like he's ever even won the job. This job has always gotten to him by default.
Yeah.
He gets the start after Dormandy gets injured. And you assumed he was going to be the starter when Dobbs left, but he doesn't. Gets the job when Dormandy's injured. And then after that, it's just he's the oldest, most experienced guy on the roster. He's never flat out won the job. Why
No,
is he being gifted all this?
Yeah, I just don't know why did you throw him out there after JT Stroud's interception? What did that give you?
I've got two other quarterbacks on that roster. I'm going to try before I put him back out there.
Absolutely. I mean,
because you saw the best you're going to get from him. And I'm not saying the best is two pick sixes. The best is 200 yards against South Carolina's defense. That wasn't going to win the game. You're down 17, and his confidence is already down. He wasn't going to win you that ball game. You can't go back to him. And that's why I say I've got to question Jeremy Pruitt's mentality as a coach there. I'm not saying he can't fix it and be a good coach at Tennessee, but right now he's going to have to fix something if he wants to win ball games. Losing to Kentucky, a team you should have beat, I don't care how good Kentucky's playing. Tennessee is better than them at every position on the football field. You should have beat them. Period. End of story.
Only going to go as far as your quarterback. I mean, 100%. That's how it's all. That's why it's the most important position in all sports, because it carries that much weight.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, I would try to. I just don't, like you said, I don't get putting JG back out there. I don't.
I mean, the O-line hasn't done a great job of protecting. Your 5-star tackles have looked atrocious in pass protection, but just run the ball. That was a game where you could literally run it every single time and probably have a chance to win the game.
Yes. I mean, legitimately, though. I mean, Kentucky only threw the ball 16 times.
Yeah, and Terry Wilson didn't have a good game, but Mark Stoops said he had a good game because he didn't lose it for you. I mean, that's kind of all we're asking is don't lose it for us. Because even if JG, like, if you go 3 and out and punt, it's still probably a one-possession ball game deep into the fourth quarter.
The offense only had 2 touchdowns. And then they had a drive. They had a drive. They went and scored, or they got it into field goal territory. But after the JT Stroud touchdown, or after the JT Stroud interception, they only had to move the ball like 15 yards to be in range.
Yeah. As soon as the offense went out there at the start of the third quarter and went 3 and out, the defense was done. It was done.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. There's a lot. I mean, dude, that game was bad. And like I said, credit to Kentucky. They got Chris Rodriguez comfortable. He ran the ball better, especially in the second half. I mean, they kept going with it, and they wanted it to be successful, and they made it successful. And that opened up kind of opened it up for Terry Wilson to be able to run the ball a little better when they had a threat there at running back, and it was effective. And they got the ball to Ali, a guy they wanted, Ali, I think is how you say it. They were able to get the ball to him a couple times, and he was effective in space. I mean, Kentucky did what they had to do to win. I mean, yeah, their defense still had to come up big, but they did what they had to do to win, and they did it well.
Yeah, it wasn't like, though, Kentucky, like, stopped us. I mean, I guess they did have to make a play on the ball, but, like, it was – if Tennessee doesn't turn the football over, it's a completely different football game. And
Very different football game.
A Kentucky loss is not a bad loss, but the way you lost is what makes it so embarrassing.
Yeah, this Kentucky team, like you said, that's not necessarily – I mean, for a Tennessee fan, talk about expectations, you should beat Kentucky.
Correct.
But like you said, when you look at – this isn't Kentucky in 2007. It's a different conference.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a game your game you're supposed to win. Now you put yourself in a big hole. You already weren't – after the Alabama game or Georgia game, you already were not – I'm sure you won't after Alabama either. You already weren't looking good. And you had a chance to really kind of get yourself out of this hole and kind of get yourself back on track. And I don't know what track you got on. Not the right one.
Yeah, I just don't understand how, like, the South Carolina game, the Missouri game, it's all about turnovers because we didn't turn the football over, and you win those games. You probably should have beat South Carolina by more, but you won ball games, and it wasn't that Missouri was a beatdown. Like, you just whooped them all day long because you're able to dominate with your offensive line, and our running backs, they can't break a tackle. I mean, you had to go 13 plays, 75 yards just running the ball because they're not going to break a tackle. Yeah, Eric Gray can make some people miss, but Ty Chandler can't make anybody miss.
No.
So, yeah.
They're not super dynamic.
You're getting holes, but it's 6 yards because you don't have a big back to run between the tackles. So you're going to have to mix things up and run the ball outside a little bit. I think you run Bayless Jones one time on a jet sweep, but there's just no flow to the offense.
No.
And I think they mentioned on the broadcast yesterday that Jim Chaney and Jeremy Pruitt are asking a lot out of their quarterback. And if their system is so complex that a quarterback can't comprehend it, they need to simplify the playbook or do something.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if your quarterback can't effectively run it, what's it going to – I mean, what are you ever going to gain?
Yeah.
Because at some point in your career, a freshman's going to have to start for you. No team's ever gotten away with a freshman not starting for them, ever. I mean, Nick Saban's even had freshmen start for him. So if it's so complex that a quarterback can't come in and at least, a decent, competent quarterback, which you assume Harrison Bailey is, or JG, a guy who's been playing college football for now 5 years, can't understand it, who's going to? So if that's the case, sure, you ask a lot of your quarterbacks, but if it's so much that not a single one on that roster is going to understand it, you need to fix it.
That's on you. 100% on you.
Yep.
I'm
very disappointed, Jim Chaney.
I don't know. I just don't know. This isn't Georgia. You just don't have those dynamic athletes like you had at Georgia with, the power backs like Nick Chubb and Todd Gurley, and you had DeAndre Swift is kind of like an Eric Gray a little bit just to kind of do it all back, but he's not a guy that's going to run between the tackles 25 times and
right.
be able to sustain a whole season. So I just don't know what you do if your only big backs are D. Beckwith and T. Hodge, and your only fast wide receivers that are able to beat man coverage is Malachi Wideman and Jimmy Callaway and Jimmy Holiday and Jalen Hyatt, utilize your freshmen. You proved last year that you're not afraid to play a freshman. I don't know why we're so afraid to play freshmen this year.
Right. We got to do it. You mentioned our wide receivers have struggled to get away from men. That's not good, especially when you talk about a quarterback who's struggling. You got to have wide receivers who can get open at some point. I mean, yeah, it's not going to happen every play, but if they can't ever get open, we're dead in the water. We're dead right there. You talk going back to kind of the offense and Jim Chaney. Where's pre-snap movement? We're not making it hard on the defense before the snap at all.
Nope. We let them get lined up and then look to the sidelines and get a call.
It's bad, dude. That was a game that was very tough to watch. We didn't adjust. We didn't fix anything at halftime. We didn't. We got beat once. Tried to remain calm. Didn't change anything. Tried to remain calm. Got beat twice, and then all hell broke loose. It was bad.
Yeah, I think whatever we did at Georgia, we did the exact same thing. Like there was not any kind of improvement from Georgia to Kentucky.
And next week's going to get uglier.
Yep.
Uglier.
So let's talk about it. Like what can Tennessee do to maybe fix something on offense?
Man, I don't know.
That's kind of where I'm at. There's so many things that like Jeremy Pruitt was pointing out, like receivers can't beat coverage, your O-line can't protect, your quarterback has turned into a turnover machine. Like I just don't know what else you can do.
He had 2 games that he was clean.
Right, yeah. Yeah, he turned into one.
Back into one. He was never not one.
Yes,
he was never not one.
True.
He had a couple days off. That was it.
True. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Jim Chaney's going to have to be creative, and that's why he makes so much money. But something's got to change.
I mean, I think you can help your offense go against defenses, make it hard on the defense by getting some pre-snap movement in. I mean, one of the only teams that doesn't do it that much is Alabama. And if you watch them play last night, they had a ton of pre-snap movement trying to get that Georgia defense off balance. I mean, and it was very effective. And maybe Tennessee is just never going to be good at all. And they're just, maybe even the pre-snap movements would be bad. I don't know, but try it. You haven't tried it yet. Try it next week because like you said, you have nothing to lose next week. It's not like anybody's expecting you to win. No one's even expecting you to cover, and it's a 24-point spread. Do something to try and fix it. Play freshmen, like you said. I think next week, a lot of people don't want to see Harrison Bailey start until after Alabama. No, I effing hate that loser mentality. If he's your best bet, and it seems like he may be, because if JT Stroud isn't it, and Maurer didn't even get a chance, JG's definitely not it. Start Harrison Bailey and find out if he's it. Give him a chance. If he plays bad against Alabama, who the hell cares? JG's going to play bad against Alabama.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what quarterback you play. You're still going to lose unless something insane happens. So,
and nothing insane is going to happen. What do they say the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Quit starting JG.
That's our offense.
Shit. He plays better when he comes in and relieves somebody.
Yeah.
Bring him in the second quarter if you want. I mean, but quit starting the guy. It's bad.
Yeah, just I don't know. It just seems like even JT Stroud, he did throw the pick. It was a terrible throw. But
Bad.
then like you put JG back in, you let him turn the ball over 3 times before you took him out.
And a lot of people want to even say that that's Todd Chandler's fault on that one. How do we know?
Yeah.
I didn't see the
Again,
play.
Jeremy
I was still
Jeremy
listening.
Pruitt took up for him and said it was Todd Chandler's fault. But dude, have some like presence.
Dude, what's up with that? Has he ever blamed JG flat out for something? But he blames Todd Chandler easily? Did he even blame JG for the missed call at the? He said it was miscommunication, right, against Alabama last year.
Yeah. I think he's trying to protect JG. It's okay if you like the kid, but you don't have to baby him. Like he's a grown man.
Quit babying him. He's never going to get better if you don't hold him accountable. And even, even if it is, he's got to be your leader. He's a 5th-year guy. He's your quarterback. He's naturally a leader by the position he plays. At the end of the day, if the running back doesn't know the right play, whose fault is it? Usually the play callers, the signal callers.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, it does fall back on JG, however you want to state it. If Harrison Bailey's in there, I know who's getting the blame for that.
Yep.
I know who's getting the blame. I didn't know he stuck up for that. I like Jeremy Pruitt a lot, but man, you're not going to win right now doing this crap. It's not going to happen.
And I get like you probably want to try to save the locker room, but from the looks of yesterday, the locker room
you're about to lose it, man.
Yeah, the locker room knows JG isn't the guy. I mean, the way you watch the people chase after that second pick six, I mean, they're just like
bad.
I don't know.
All right. I can be negative for hours. I've got hours of it, man, but I know we don't want to hear that. Who impressed you yesterday?
I thought Henry To'oTo'o had a good game, had a sack, couple tackles for loss. I think 8 tackles. Crouch also had 11 tackles. I thought he played probably the best game of the season. Malachi Wadman
had Bennett. 2 tackles for loss. He kind of disappeared, but
yeah, he looked good in the first quarter, I guess.
Yeah.
Malachi Wadman had a good catch, and obviously Eric Gray. Other than
Eric Gray. I know you're gonna you're kind of getting on to him for the not being able to break tackles, but you know what? He did have a great game, and you saying that doesn't negate him having a good game. He can have a good game and still lack the ability to make people miss, he can make people miss, but breaking the tackle, he had a good game. Yeah, he could get better at something, but he had a good game. He played well. He was our few shining lights.
Yeah, he was definitely a bright spot, and I'm not really getting on to him of, missing, not being able to break tackles. He's just not that kind of back to run.
It's not really his job.
Yeah, to run through linebackers, and it's kind of doing him a disservice of just running in between the tackles because he's so much better in space.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Who do you have starting quarterback? Alabama.
Yeah, Maurer. It's got to be Maurer Bailey, right? Because Stroud, you got him on a short leash. Why even roll him out there? It's like, leaving a freak. It's like, it's live bait. You're just waiting to put JG in. You're telling the team that. But put in Maurer Bailey, see what happens. Maybe a spark gets going. You at least get the fans riled up a little bit.
Yeah,
maybe that rubs off on the team.
And you proved some recruits that you'll play freshmen, and that you have Tennessee has a good core of talent, of young talent. They just and you need to show that you're building something in the future to these recruits, or you're going to lose them too. If you're playing a 5th-year guy to try to win games now when really it doesn't matter, and 2, he's playing like absolute dog shit, then you got to roll with a freshman.
I'll tell you this right now. This is just for the quarterback position. If I'm a freshman quarterback, I'm not even thinking about playing at the University of Tennessee. I'm not even thinking about it. Why? You're not going to be given a chance if you're JT Stroud, you get one throw while the other guy gets endless amounts.
Yep.
And those recruits don't see practice. Jeremy Pruitt can tell them all he wants. Oh, if you practice well, blah, blah, blah. JG can't practice that well.
No,
you can't practice that well and play that bad. It doesn't have. I've seen plenty of people who can practice good and play bad, but they're not outshining people in practice and then playing that bad.
Mm.
It's not that big of a difference.
Yeah, you can't tell me that JG and Harrison Bailey, if they got equal amounts with the ones, equal amount of reps with the
Yep.
ones, that JG would just outshine Harrison Bailey.
No, not a chance.
There's no
Not
way.
a chance.
There's no way.
Not a chance.
I don't know. I mean,
man.
here's what you get with JG. You might win some games that you should win. But you're also going to lose some games you should win. And he's never going to beat a game you shouldn't win. Like, he's never going to upset somebody. He's never going to go
Correct.
win you a game. He's never going to beat Georgia. He's never going to beat Florida. He's never going to beat Alabama. That's just who he is. He's not a baller. He's not a gamer. I don't know if Tennessee has one on their roster, but it ain't JG. I mean, we've seen
It's time to start trying to – you got to find out. It's time to start trying to find out.
4 years of this, and he just hasn't really improved very much.
Nope.
And he's a statue in
assume
the
he has-
pocket. Why is he a statue in the pocket?
Freaking dual threat quarterback, get the F out of here.
Why
Okay.
can't, why can like even not Peyton Manning, I guess, but like anybody can move, but he just can't move.
He's too old. He's a
I just
fifth-year guy.
don't-
He's just too old.
I mean, that kind of makes me want to put Brian Maurer. At least he can like move in the pocket. So I don't know. My guess I think you start Harrison Bailey for sure. That's what I would do. But if not, put Jimmy Holiday back there and run the read option with Eric Gray and see what happens.
At this point, yeah, I mean, it's going to be more creative than any offense you've put out there.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, whatever. I'm sure we have some questions related to quarterback and related to the game in general. Let's get to those. And I mean, we may have answered them some already, but we can definitely hit on them.
Yeah, let me find those real quick. So the first one is Cameron Ward. Why can't Tennessee stop a slant? That's another thing with the defense. What the heck? How is it so bad? How is a DB whisperer like Jeremy Pruitt and Derek Ansley putting that kind of performance in our secondary?
Yeah, I don't have a good answer for you.
I mean, the
It's
only
bad.
way you defend a slant is leverage, and you're just letting them inside of you every single time. That's how they're able to get slants off.
Yeah, slants are one of the easier routes in football. They're a basic route. Just about any team should be able to do them and should use them because, like you said, it's leverage. It can help you run a few different routes and help you get deep because those guys got to cheat up and cheat inside. And it's a route you should be running a lot. So Tennessee doesn't run them any for some reason. So it's definitely, like you said, it's a tough route to defend. But at the end of the day, if you don't take away the slant, you're going to get killed by the slant. Take away the freaking slant, let your safeties help over top.
Yeah, it's just the star position is just struggling. And it seemed like Kentucky had a good game plan. They were just going to be like, yeah, we'll do a fake and then a slant behind the linebackers because, our linebackers are flying up. So if you have an extra linebacker in, they're going to hit that slant every time. And then if they're going to put the star in, they're just going to run it with that 225-pound back. And
Tennessee has to be more effective on the defensive line there in that scenario.
yeah, you just weren't
Got to be.
stopping in the second half. I feel like you did a decent job of getting off the field in the first half, but you still couldn't defend the middle of the field. And with Terry Wilson at quarterback, I mean, I know you're not having to defend a lot, but he was able to kind of carve you up in the second half.
Which isn't good.
No,
It isn't good.
because you think Alabama, those slants are going to the house next week.
Yes. Absolutely.
Better get that fixed.
Yep. Any other questions?
I think we have.
I know we had the quarterback starting, so we answered that. But yeah, we both pretty much. You said Bailey. I said Maurer or Bailey. It can't be Stroud. You showed you don't trust him. Like you showed everybody that. So it's got to be Maurer or Bailey, I think.
So Mike said Jelly, Jehle. I don't know if I'm saying that
I like
right,
it.
but I'm gonna call you Jelly.
It's my favorite kind of jelly.
Yeah. He says it seemed pretty clear to us laymen's watching TV that a good portion of the team, mostly on D, quit in the second half on Saturday. Got to believe that's tied to Pruitt continuing to send JG out there. If he starts JG anymore this year, does Pruitt completely lose the team? I think that's a good question. I mean,
It's a good question. First off, though, I want to start with, is inexcusable to ever quit. I mean, once you the problem with that, and yeah, it's got a lot to do with Pruitt. But the problem is if me and Landon are playing together and I quit on Landon, the next time we get in a tough situation, he's not going to trust me. So it's bad for your team. And yeah, some of that falls on Pruitt, but Swain had a good tweet about it. I don't have it on me right now, but that's just unacceptable. It is unacceptable, and you can't do that. You wouldn't want the guy next to you to quit on you, so you can't do it no matter who's out there. As a teammate, as a football player, any athlete, as any situation, you don't quit on guys. You don't quit on your guys. That's the team you're riding with. That's the team you're dying with. Do it. But
I think it does hurt morale if you're continuing to put somebody out there who doesn't perform. And you're willing to give everybody else kind of a short leash at any other position.
It kind of goes into what I'll say. It's inexcusable, but I understand how it can happen.
Yep.
How can you be happy with what JG is doing? How?
And
if you're his teammate, if you're his coach, how are you happy with it?
And you're in a bad situation at quarterback because you had some opportunities to play some guys and get them some reps before yesterday, and did not.
Yep.
So you could have played them against Missouri, Georgia, and then you had to put somebody in next year, or they're lucky 100,000 people weren't there because the whole city of Knoxville would have been filled with booze.
Yeah, yep. It's it's not a good. It sucks. It's not a good situation. Yeah, I mean, you can't lose the team, especially week 5. You can't lose the team.
Right.
Any more questions?
That's all I got. We're rolling with Bailey. More important issues is rolling with Harrison Bailey because he.
Hey, whoa. Or Maurer. Oh,
okay.
Maurer.
I mean, like Maurer.
I am. I'm not speaking. Yeah. No, I agree. That's why I say or Maurer, just because Harrison Bailey didn't get yanked out, and then Brian Maurer wasn't shown that you just flat out don't trust JT Shrout.
Yep.
I think he tried to use Shrout as like a wake up call for JG. That didn't work. So it wasn't because you trusted Shrout.
He told them, Jeremy Pruitt told them that he took JG out to just have a conversation with him, to just calm him down. And then that's why
exactly that he did not trust Shrout. He used him as a tool and it didn't work. So you can't put him back in.
I mean, I'm just that Jeremy Pruitt that was just speaking his mind. And that's why people liked him so much. And this like excuse and, defending JG, that's, he's not playing the standard of Tennessee football. Al Wilson comes in there and talks to that whole team about the standard of Tennessee football, and then they go out and lay an egg.
Yeah, not a good look there.
My good Lord. Somebody needs to get in. I'm sure Al Wilson still has some pop to him. I'm sure he would love to get some Oklahoma drills with some guys in that locker room. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
Need a wake-up call.
We could have used some Al Wilson attitude on both sides of the ball on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, you ready to move on? Is it college football? We're talking college football now?
Yeah, college football. Let's get away from it.
What about Arkansas? What about yes, sir? What about him?
They made me nervous.
Right?
I mean, other than Vanderbilt, there's not a winnable game left on it. There's not a game that you should just go out and win. Yes.
Flat out win. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Arkansas should be that, but you have not shown it. You're better than them. You're more talented than them. But they're winning games, and you have not the last 2 weeks. You've done the opposite of winning games. Yep. Also, what about Lane? Everybody's like, Lane Kiffin will be the next great thing in the West. He put 45 points on Alabama. You scored 21 on Arkansas. Get the F out of here. That Lane
They're down like 21-0, right?
No.
At some point,
I don't know. I'm sure the Lane train's in whatever ditch that Mike Leach's bandwagon's in right now. So get the F out of here with that.
Is there just like a hole somewhere where they just like the magical helmet that Shy Tuttle fell in?
Yep, same hole. Same hole. Did you watch that entire Alabama Georgia game? That was good. That's good college football game.
Yeah, I think it goes to show like how good Alabama is. I mean, they're like Mac Jones when he played us last year. Everybody was like, "Yeah, they're gonna go down with Mac Jones because he's not very talented. And then he's just I don't know if it's that system or I'm sure that helps. And just
That
having
helps. Sarkisian
dominant
Sarkisian called a
receivers.
great game.
Yeah. But he looks good. I mean, he's got to be in the
Must have been
Heisman
sober.
race.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Him and, well, you do have Trevor Lawrence.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, he's got to be up in the
Yeah,
conversation.
in the race. Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. Alabama though, I mean, their ability to just impose their will on any team is incredible. I was a little, looking at last week, I thought Georgia had a good chance because not that I thought Alabama's defense was bad. That wasn't it. It was just usually when you try to play someone else's game, that hurts you. And I thought they tried to play Ole Miss's game last week and kind of got away with it. So I was a little worried that, would they try the same thing that Georgia, go out there and just do what they do? They did what they did. They did not try to play at Georgia's pace. They played at their pace and dominated.
Yeah, I think kind of Alabama learned a lot probably from that Tennessee-Georgia game, whereas Tennessee's defense played good enough to win. I mean, it's just our offense just gave them the ball at our own 15 and 30, and they scored a touchdown as well. So I think Georgia's offense is kind of not great. It's not up to it's not up to the standard of like Alabama and Clemson. So I think that they'll be able to stay in probably every game, but I just think they have a lot to figure out on offense.
Yeah, you knew if Georgia won that game, it was going to be on the back of their defense again. It wasn't going to be anything their offense did. Nothing. And I think a lot of people are kind of starting to discredit Stetson Bennett. I don't think he's great, but he's not terrible.
No, he's not. I mean, he's
not terrible.
He's not going to lose you a game.
You hope not, because like you said, they should be in every game.
Right.
So you hope not. Auburn, South Carolina, man. What about it? What about Will Muschamp? Did he get an extension after that game?
Shoot, he might. I just
throw some more money on top of that buyout.
Like, is Vanderbilt the only like just trash team in the SEC this year?
Whoa.
Maybe Missouri. No, they beat LSU.
Whoa.
Mississippi State.
I was referencing.
I mean, yeah. That, like we're
looking like it.
We're falling down the power rankings very quickly.
Yep. Yeah, Mississippi State. Excuse me. Mississippi State isn't great, but they're gonna. I mean, they beat LSU. I still have them. Thank you. I still have them winning probably a game. That they shouldn't. Not Alabama or anything, but they'll win a game they shouldn't.
Yeah,
they'll do that every year. So I still have Mississippi State at least making things interesting. They'll surprise a couple people, like you said about Tennessee, especially if JG's at the helm. They're not gonna win anything they shouldn't.
Mm-mm. What about Kevin Harris? Dude, he's like
who's that?
Kevin Harris, the running back for South Carolina. I think they found their back for the future.
Yeah.
And I think Colin Hill's played okay. I mean, he's playing better than JG right now.
I thought he played decent against Tennessee outside of a couple of errors. Better than I thought he would. And I think he's gonna be okay. Nothing special.
Yeah, Bo Nix was 24 for 47 yesterday.
I like Bo Nix a lot last year. I'd take that back as fast as I can. Take it back.
I mean, he should have lost you the Arkansas game if SEC officiating wasn't what it is.
Correct. Who am I leaving out here in this game? Is it Mississippi State or in this
Texas A&M, Mississippi State?
Oh yeah, A&M. A&M. I think A&M might be starting to kind of figure something out. I think that win over Florida may vault them to. That's a team that should be playing for second in the West. No.
They played two quarterbacks yesterday. Mississippi State did. I don't know if Costello got hurt. They just took him out because he was playing like trash.
Because he's not good.
Right. But I really like Isaiah Spiller at Texas A&M. I think he's really good back.
I mean, if Najee Harris wasn't in the SEC, Spiller might be the best in the SEC.
Right. Najee Harris run 152 yards against that defense. That's insane.
He's a freaking beast. Najee Harris makes me jealous. Jalen Waddle makes me jealous. Dude, Jalen Waddle's speed, I would do a lot of things to have that kind of speed on Tennessee's team.
I would do a lot of stuff to have like a Kyle Trask on my team. I I mean, just a
Unfortunately, I would.
I mean, like, look at the UCF and Memphis quarterbacks. I'm like, how do we just get something like that? Something that a guy that's able to just move the football.
Yeah, I don't know, man. What about that's why I'm fail of the week. I'll go ahead and do it because I'm not gonna be able to pull my fails up. What about I'll just talk about it, that UCF kicker and backup quarterback getting into it.
Yeah.
Not even a guy that plays. Not even a guy that plays.
It looks like everybody else was
play.
trying to calm him down, and then that guy just came up and be like, "Oh, dude, you suck."
I feel for him. Kicker to kicker, I feel for him. Yeah, that what an idiot. But really both of them didn't even fight on the sideline. But
Yeah.
you just got to ignore it and walk away, unfortunately. I know, pride gets in the way of that, but yeah, you got to.
Well, me guy.
Yeah. What about UNC? I knew they wouldn't hang on for long, but I didn't know it would come to Florida State.
Jesus. Florida State was up 28
31-7 at the half.
It was 28 nothing
31.
at one point.
Oh, okay. I think it was 31-7 at the half, I believe. And they didn't score a single point in the second half. Nuts.
Yeah, you're right.
What was the Clemson final? 73-7?
Yes.
And they put their backups in early. Like they do not just keep running up the score. So those are second string guys just wearing them out.
They played 4 quarterbacks last week. 4.
Oh yeah,
Or
they played.
or against Georgia Tech, they played 4.
Yeah, they do not do what some other teams do and keep the starters in and run up the score. Nope. Any other games you want to mention from college football this week?
I'd like to have Amari Rodgers on my team too. That'd be nice.
Yes, I wouldn't be mad about that. I'd like to have a quarterback that can throw to him.
Notre Dame and Louisville, 12-7.
Yeah,
like a
what
freaking
crap.
baseball score.
I think Notre Dame only had 2 offensive touchdowns in that game. Yikes.
Good Lord.
Was it 12-7?
No.
They had 1 offensive
Yeah,
touchdown.
they had 1.
I was thinking it was 15. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, they had 1 offensive touchdown.
Dude, they're bad.
Yikes. Yeah, I mean they're going to get worn out when they play Clemson. They won't play them until the final though, right? They play Duke in the regular season. They play Duke and North Carolina, don't they?
Yeah, I think they do play. Or are you talking about Clemson?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Notre Dame does play North Carolina, and I think they play Clemson too.
They do play Clemson regular season?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
November 7th.
So, yeah, good luck. Okay, coming up. Wow. So
Trades
that's
are
why
almost
almost like the ACC.
Like next week would be halfway through the season, right? That's
Yep.
insane.
I know it's that 10 game, but yeah, I mean, I feel like the second half of 2020 is flying by. Thankfully, let's get the hell out of it.
Yeah. Don't want any more of that.
No, thank you. All right, we ready to go to high school football? Am I forgetting something? I feel like I might be. Did I skip around on you?
No, I think we're good. I think we're
All right.
moving right. I do want to mention the yardage against Kentucky. So they had 294 yards. We had 287 total yards. And I think we had the same amount of first downs. I think we had like 18.
And you got beat 34-7.
Yeah.
And you had the same amount of yards. It's not hard to see who's at fault for that game.
No, it's not. Not at all.
It's not hard. The offense. I'm not even saying JD. The offense as a whole is at fault for that. Yep. All right, high school football. So, like I said, we don't have highlights for you guys tonight. We'll get those back or those top plays. We'll get those back going next week as we roll into the playoffs. But we're going to talk about some guys who impressed in the area, or I don't know, maybe you went out of the area because, dude, I'm kind of upset. I know I just didn't have time to do it this week, being out of town, be a little bit different in how we did it, a little bit more difficult. I really wanted to put that. May have to roll that video over to next week of Dallin Hayden. Dogs don't raise cats. Whatever he says. Dogs don't raise cats.
Yeah.
Yeah. That dude's a dog. Like his dad.
Dude, and he's like, everybody wanted him to be a DB, and then like these
Going off.
his senior year, it's just like, or his junior year.
He's causing people.
Yeah, like Ohio State and I think Notre Dame want him to play running back. If I'm Tennessee,
He's
if
causing
I'm running over guys like that, I'm like, hey, you can play whatever the heck you want.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he's costing people some money too. He's doing touchdowns for charity.
Mm-hmm.
Every touchdown he scores, people are having. Yeah, he's running up a tab on some people.
Yeah, some people are probably regretting pledging that much money.
Yep. I thought this was for the entire walk. No, it's per mile. Fantastic.
So we got some scores. A lot of Knoxville was on fall break this week. But you did have Anderson County beating Chattanooga Central 53-0. Alcoa beat Kingston 41-0. Elizabethton beat Greenville. Did you see that score?
I didn't.
44-10.
Elizabethton's for real, man.
They are.
They're for real.
Farragut
Sean
beat,
Witten up there.
yeah. Farragut beat Bearden 45-17. Knox Halls. That was probably the big game this week.
Battle of Black Oak Ridge. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I don't know why that is. That makes no sense to me. But do you
I'm
know the
not familiar
backstory
with
on that?
No, but I'm going to guess that Black Oak Ridge probably separates them. That's my best guess.
Okay.
I'm not familiar. You said we're geography guys, but I guess we're not good enough geography guys.
Yeah, I didn't know that one. I just thought that was a weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, Halls knocks off Central 20-16. I do want to point out somebody in this game, Nolan Faust.
Sophomore, right? Junior?
Yeah, sophomore.
Sophomore.
I think he's number 28 for Halls. He had a long touchdown against Aldol last week, and then 2 long touchdowns against Central. That was the difference in the game. So,
Yep.
that kid's for real. Be on the watch out for. He's got some flat out speed too.
Did you hear about my man Deshaun Bishop at Carnes?
Oh, dude.
Second time this year, 6 touchdowns. Baller.
Putting the team on your back.
He's just a sophomore.
Yeah. That's wild. And then you had Webb beat Silverdale 42-24. Maryville beat Ooltewah 56-12. McMinn County beating Cleveland 42-7. Morristown East beat Volunteer 49-43. Oak Ridge
Oh, wow.
beat Mount Juliet 27-21. Pigeon Forge beat Austin East 35-0. That's kind of surprising.
Austin East they've been red though for the last couple weeks, so
Gotcha.
I don't know how much preparation was able to go into that game.
Sevier County beat Seymour 42-35. I think that's all I have. What was the Carnes score? Oh, Carnes beat Heritage 40-30.
All of his touchdowns. That's insane.
Dude, that's nuts.
That is absolutely insane. Gonna have to find some more highlights of that kid.
Yeah, for sure.
He can play. He
Yeah.
can play.
I'm sure he's going to get some offers here pretty soon.
You got to think. You got to think. He's got another summer though before those start really rolling in.
Right.
All right, we ready for some
Most important?
some segments? Oh, what I miss? Oh, most important. Yeah. Sorry. Yep.
Most important. I'm going with Coastal Carolina, baby. Their offensive
The
line.
Shants.
What?
Is it the Shants? Chanteliers?
Yeah,
I think it's
sure.
Shants. Is that you? Yeah, I think so.
I was just going to go with their offensive line. Have you seen their offensive line? Let me read you.
No.
So you have the left tackle is 6'3", 275. The left guard is 6'1", 295. The center is 5'9", 290. The right guard is 6'1", 300. And then the right tackle is 6'2", 280.
They're on the veer or something? They just trying to sprint them?
Just that's the team. They just want some dogs on that offensive line. I don't care
guess.
how big you are.
You
I
would
love
not
it.
be happy with that. No, you don't.
I love it. If they produce,
Okay. Maybe.
Drew Brees like 5'11". Right?
Drew Brees about 5'11". He is. You're right. You're absolutely right. Most important. I'm not able to get on my phone right now. This is difficult. I'm trying to remember them. I don't remember. I only know my fails. I've already mentioned both of them. I'm not doing good at the segment thing today. Yeah, I think because I'm just very sad about that. I have 0 positives about Tennessee, so that makes it hard.
Good stuff.
0. Now I'm getting sad again. Next, you have another most important. Get me excited again.
Oh yeah, we did forget about. We got a recruit this week. So Christian Charles
Yes.
Athlete out of the state of Georgia. He plays quarterback. I think Tennessee is kind of recruiting him as a defensive back. Just a solid athlete. If you watch his film, he's all over the field. And, it's a guy that they've kind of evaluated and really like. And I listened to an interview with him, and he seems like a very smart individual. And with our complex offense that we run, you need some of those guys.
Yeah, can he figure out the offense? That's the question.
I hope so. Yeah, that was a get, a 3-star.
Yeah.
Bad. Just
Hey,
some
you need
athletes.
some of them.
It's kind of very. When I look at like his film, it reminds me a lot of Alontae Taylor, just because of the versatility and him playing, mostly offense. I know that's kind of hard to. He plays some defense, but not a whole lot. So I know that's kind of hard to evaluate him on the other side of the ball. But I think he runs track as well, and I think he runs a 10.900.
Gotcha. You mentioned Alontae. I'm sorry, I hate to get off topic from that. Did we ever find out? I know he got banged up against Georgia, just same injury.
Yeah, I think it was a hamstring issue.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Fails. Any more most important? What do you got? You like my switch I had to make mid-game here?
Yeah.
It's called adjusting. My AirPods were starting to die. I had to make an adjustment.
You adapted. Yeah. I like it.
I adapted.
You might want to get on the Tennessee coaching staff. You got any more most importance?
I don't. I'm sorry. Everything's on my phone. I had to do it on my phone, and I don't want to go dark on you. I'm trying to stay.
Gotcha.
No, I'm not trying to go still Team 6 on you or anything.
You don't want to go to Pac-12?
No.
That's all I got for most important. Do you have any fails?
Cool. My fails were the UCF
backup
quarterback. I think he was a third string quarterback, which makes it all that better. And then my man that threw the beer bottle out the window. I'm sorry. You just got to be smarter than that. I've bring in some stuff in anger, but nothing like a window. It's all been my personal property, like not like mine and my significant others, or mine and my brothers, or mine and my family's, my property that I broke in. Maybe a golf club. I don't know, but nothing that'll get me left.
Yeah. You can't do that. You can't lose more than you already had.
Exactly.
My first one is Christian Zachary. Did you see his commitment video?
I don't think it wasn't in Times Square, was it?
No, it was very weird, very medieval, dark in the woods, and at the end,
like Missouri's.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But he was wearing like a hood, and there was a guy that he was kind of fighting in the woods, and I didn't get it. And then it put the top 7, and he just said, "I'm committed to the 7." So I don't know who he's actually committed to.
He committed to 7 schools.
He committed to the 7. I don't know. Like I guess that's all 7 schools.
One of the 7.
But from what I've gathered, it's not even going to be one of those 7. It's going to be another school.
Ooh, wow. He should be a movie director, it sounds like.
He goes by
something like
Reverend something is like his nickname. So I'm thinking he's going to TCU. All the colors in it were kind of purple, and Christian school context clues.
Yeah, exactly.
So he kind of pieced it together, but still committed to the 7. Why can't you just say you're committed to a school? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of commitment videos. Anyways, seem weird. I'm not a big fan of releasing your top 40. So really combining those two things does not get my juices going or anything like that. So
yeah,
it's bold. It's bold to say the least.
I don't get it. Committed to the 7, baby.
That's my new line. That's my new line, man. Committed to the 7.
It looked like a CW commitment video. Like it was very weird.
Yeah.
Superhero type vibes. I don't know.
That's awesome.
I think that's all I got.
That's it.
Oh, we forgot. JJ Peterson just never made it to campus. We're all in agreement.
It's got to be official now, right?
Yeah, there's no way he comes back. No way.
There's no way he's been there, right?
I don't think so. I've never actually
Yeah.
seen him without a helmet on, so yeah, I don't. I'm leaning toward no.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. Never been on campus.
Yep.
Never been.
Sad.
Very sad. Well, guys, I'm sorry. I hate that it happened. Wednesday, I guess we'll try to bring some better moods. I don't know how we're going to be happier on Wednesday because we're facing Alabama. We'll be previewing Alabama on Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough next couple of weeks on more important issues.
Maybe a couple guys test positive, false or not. Maybe it gets us out of. I don't know.
Yeah, like what would we rather have, COVID or Bama? I guess. And then Nick
I know what I'm
Saban
thinking.
beats COVID in a matter of days, so you got to think you'd rather have COVID.
The man doesn't lose. He doesn't lose. Say what you want about him. He doesn't lose.
That's true.
Yeah, we'll be previewing that game though, of course, and we'll cheer as hard as we can on Saturday. It's who we are. It's what we do. So join us, I guess. And yeah, we do appreciate you guys listening as always, obviously. And make sure you get your questions in for Wednesday's show. We'll be back 100% live next time and in person. So make sure you stay with us. We always appreciate you all.
Love you guys. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.